Welcome back, everyone, to Bingothon Winter 2021. And we have a gem for you right now, because coming up now, we will have Ori and the Will of the Wisps in a randomizer co-op Blackout Discovery Bingo. And yes, that title could not be any longer, I think. We have omfq and Guard doing the running, and we have Xemzis and Just Epic with the commentary. So take it away, guys.
Yes, hello Bingothon and welcome back to Ori. Indeed, this time it's not going to be Ori and the Blind Forest. That will happen on Sunday. Instead, we're gonna be playing the sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Randomizer, Co-op, Blackout, Discovery, Bingo. I'm sure we could add like 8 more words to that, but for now, our runners are Guard and queue. Wanna say hi real quick to chat?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, and those two are some of our best runners here for both the randomizer itself and Bingo in particular, so you're gonna be in for a treat. The one problem here is there's so much coordination necessary to do a co-op run of this game, so they won't be doing their own commentary. I examined one of the devs. Epic is also a very experienced Will of the Wisp randomizer runner, so us two are going to do that here. Epic, you ready for this?
Yes, of course I'm ready for this. I'm anticipating a very quick seed, I hope, for these two. They will run over the board like it's nothing. They can do it, they have the skill for sure, and I'm hoping for a very quick board and something, just to show them how fast a board can be cleared in Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, let's see if we're gonna get one of those jet seats and boards, or if we're gonna see complete all quests on one of the cards. Alright, enough introductions, let's jump into the action. Let's give our runners a countdown here. Everyone ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, then we're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, you two.
So in this randomizer we have randomized spawns. So we don't start in the normal starting area, and we spawn anywhere on the map where there's a teleporter. In this case we spawned...
We have spawned apparently both in reach as well as ways, and on the right we can see Guard having some connection problems, but they have resolved themselves now, and we already see there are a lot of starting skills here, because depending on the actual spawn, you cannot do a lot of things if you do not actually get some skills to start us off with. So we can see the regenerate, one of those nice skills for the start, is built up at the top of both of our screens, and as well we already got the weapon in grenade, we got the nice double jump here and there, so there are a lot of skills that allow for early traversal. Let's maybe take a look on the board. This is Discovery Bingo, so we won't see the entire board from the start. Instead, what we're gonna get is we have 2 cards visible, Drain, Quolox Hollow. That is one area. It requires the bow to slowly lower more and more water until it's finally fully drained and you get the goal, as well as Drop the Rock next to Bauer. That is in Bauer's reach, and we can see Guard on the right already being in that very area. So maybe he will be able to backtrack through that to the rock at some point and get that done. Once we see that, we're gonna get more of the board, but it looks like our runners aren't quite sure if they remember to load the right seeds. So let's see if that is working out correctly here.
So since we are in Bauer's reach, it may look possible to drop the rock to Bauer pretty early, but this is unfortunately not the case, because to our left there is a lever door that can only be activated from the left side. And since we're on the right side of this door, we can't pull the lever and get to the rock to drop it next to Bauer. So the problem is you need to do the escape that's far to the right, and that's pretty hard without any skills. But it is definitely possible just with a few skills like they have, like double jumping grenade. It should be possible.
Yes, indeed. And I apologize, it does seem like we're having some technical difficulties because our runs accidentally started the thing as a multi-world instead of a co-op game. They will be getting themselves a new skill and restart the game as quickly as possible. Apologies to you, but it wouldn't be an Ori run at Bingothon without some technical difficulties, so glad we're getting these out of the way now and not later. Yes, so for context, this randomizer has both a co-op feature and a multi-world feature. And since we're waiting for them to restart their game, so let's maybe talk a bit about how that works. In co-op, you're gonna share absolutely everything you find and are able to see each other's movement on the map. Not in game quite yet, but at least on the map. That means you can kind of split up the map and work together on different areas, completing those goals together to go faster across the bingo board. What I accidentally loaded in is multi-world, which is the classic multi-world you might be already knowing from A Link to the Past or something else, where they don't have the same seeds and instead will find things for each other. So yeah, not quite the co-op they were signing up for, so they are now currently remaking the game as a co-op game, getting a new seed, and we should be in to that action very soon. Meanwhile, if you have a donation or something to read while we wait here, feel free to take it away.
Well, I can tell you a bit about Fred Hutch, which is the charity that we are collecting money for. Fred Hutch is a cancer research center where world renowned scientists and humanitarians work together to prevent, diagnose, and treat cancer, HIV, and many other diseases, currently also the coronavirus. With 3 Nobel laureates among their researchers, they are at the front of the battle against those illnesses. So, thank you everyone who already donated, and thank you to everyone who is thinking about donating and will donate in the future, I hope, for this awesome charity because they do really important research work to prevent illnesses, to treat illnesses, and yeah, every dollar counts, as always with those charities, really. But yeah, with this coronavirus crisis for almost 2 years now, I really do want to see it end. So let's get more money into research so that we can get even more effective treatment, better vaccinations, and yeah, you can help with that. So keep donating, please. Thank you very much.
Maybe donate for every technical issue Ori has. That would certainly up that amount by a long time. But it looks like we're back, and this time we're gonna start in Windswept Wastes. If any one of you has been around when the Ori trailers have released, you know this area. Beautiful area, has a lot of that burrowing around in sand as its main mechanic. And indeed, we started with 2 skills, Burrow and Regenerate. So can our runners split up with this, and how much can they epic?
In wastes, you have 2 basic routes. You can go upper wastes and lower wastes. We will see Q clearing out lower wastes, and I think Guard will go upper wastes soon. Because in a co-op, you basically want to split up since you share every pickup you do, so you don't have to go everywhere. Your teammate goes as well. And the more you split up, the more pickups you can get, of course, in the same time frame. So we want to see that, them splitting up, but they are smart enough, they will do that. And they will check every pickup normally in the starting area because you want to find skills. And without skills it will be very slow. But as soon as they find dash or bash, they go very soon. So let's hope for that in the beginning.
Indeed, and you could see Gerd doing a bit of a puzzle here where you need to escort a shot through walls that despawn and respawn depending on you touching the ground or not. Gets that pickup. So far it's just a bunch of experience. But there's our first board hint. Lupo the map maker normally sells maps in the base game. Maps aren't very interesting for randomizer runners who know the entire map by heart anyway. So instead it's going to give you a hint when you buy it to tell you how many important items are in this area. And it is 6 skills in way. So I would assume we're gonna be seeing a lot of digging in this area in particular.
Yeah, they have to. 6 skills is pretty insane for wastes. Normally you have like 2 or 3 skills in wastes, even if you start there. But this seed having 6 skills in wastes, since you can access almost every pickup only with Burrow, and they started with Burrow, you can basically get every skill except for like 1 or 2. But this is pretty insane and a big advantage.
Yes, that will be very nice, depending on which scales we get. Of course, we could just get 6 weapons here and not get actual movement. We'll see what happens there kinda soonish. God, now actually heading up into that upper area. And, well, they are picking up both Sword and Glide. And Sword, ironically, is an incredibly good movement skill. You can already see it on the right, using those Sword slashes horizontally to hover in the air and get more air retention, as well as Glide, which does the exact same thing. So our runners have a lot of horizontal air retention now, not quite able to fly into the air, but that might follow soon, because actually it does. There is Sentry, and Sentry and Sword, for anyone who has ever seen a speedrunner of this game, means a lot of power.
Yeah, basically what you can do with Sentry and Sword, you can Sentry jump. To explain it in short, if you press it at the same time, aka on the same frame, you go very high. You go as high as nothing else in this game can shoot you up. So if you have this technique, you can basically reach every pickup, since you can not only do it on the ground, but also in midair. So yeah, they should be good to go on verticality. Now what they wanna see is like a dash pickup or something, so they can get a little bit more horizontal movement, not only a static horizontal movement like Glide or Sword.
Yes, indeed. And while those mid-air sentries are incredibly powerful, will get you a lot of height. They are quite difficult to perform. Getting both inputs done on the same frame, which is the timing on the ground, is one thing, which is, well, it can be kind of tricky, but it's still nice and can actually be bound if you just bind both buttons to one key. However, if you do that in the air, you have to do, depending on your frame rate, a different delay between them, which is a few frames, and that can be quite a bit more tricky. But we already said this is a very skill-dense waste, and we just found 2 more, Grapple and Bash, both of those right-click abilities. Wanna talk a bit about these?
Since we have Regenerate and Dash, we can do what's called Wave Dashes. Wave dashes basically allow you to go very fast horizontally, so we have no problem here anymore. Dash also, normal horizontal skill, very useful, you can use it everywhere. And Grapple is not useful everywhere, but Grapple is just insane in general if you are in Wellspring. Or here in Wastes even, because there are these grapple bulbs around like every second corner. You can just target them and grapple them. It's pretty useful. And you can just move around with this. Because if you don't have grapple in these areas, it can be a pain to get around. But since we have grapple and these areas are designed around grapple, we can just go everywhere basically now.
Yes, indeed. And just to clarify, we found Bash, not Dash, so we don't get our horizontal speed from that, but Bash can also give you a bunch of horizontal speed if you just remember to release your direction button after bashing to the left, because then the game won't decelerate you for basically until you touch the ground. So you just grab an enemy or a projectile, just like in Ori 1, if you've watched those games. Grab that, fling yourself in one direction, and the thing you grabbed in the other direction. Unlike in Ori 1, we cannot chain those infinitely by using what was called double bashes, where you would bash the same thing twice and get different directions on both sides. However, it doesn't deal any damage here, so if you have something like double jump, you could theoretically take an enemy, bash it upwards, jump after it, and repeat that for a minute and fly as high as you want to in this game. Alright, now one thing I also kind of want to talk about are launch fragments. If you've ever played this game, you know at the end you get a skill called launch, which is basically fling you in the air in any direction. It gets refreshed whenever you hit an enemy with sword, whenever you touch a wall, whenever you touch the ground, and is an absolutely broken and strong ability. And well, our runners haven't found launch, they have found launch fragments. Want to talk a bit about that mechanic, Epic?
launch fragments are there in the rando if you don't want the seed to be over after the first pickup and it is launch. Because launch is so powerful, you can just go everywhere with launch alone. You don't need any other skill. Except, of course, for descents, burrow, etc. But only for movement around the game, launch is enough. You can do everything with launch, since we have certain tech for it. And because we have launch fragments, we divide this launch pickup into 5 fragments, or you can choose basically how many you want of these fragments. And if we collect every single one of these fragments, we get launch ourselves. So the seed can't be over after 1 pickup, but can be over after 5 pickups. So, but it's very unlikely because, of course, randomizer does something. Pickups are not very straight, so yeah.
Yes, indeed. So they have 2 out of those 5 pieces of Exodia right now. If they get all of them, we can see some amazing tech. Let's hope that happens about 30 minutes in and not about 3 minutes in, because otherwise that skill would just dominate the rest of the game. For those who have just joined us or went there earlier, just for a reminder, this is the Discovery Bingo, which means we cannot see most of the board. Instead, we get 2 starting squares, and if we complete one of them, all adjacent squares will be revealed to us. You can still complete squares you cannot see, however, you do not know what they are until you actually reveal them. So as you can see on the Bingothon overlay right now, the center square is actually already completed. It was something that our runners have done either on accident or because they know every single possible card and go out of their way to do that, which is a thing experienced Discovery Bingo runners will sometimes do if it just takes like 10 seconds to check out an easy goal. But for now, we just know we need pickups from Health Fragments. We're halfway there, 4 out of 8, and we need to drain Krolok's Hollow. Now, pickups from Health Fragments is pretty simple. You know where those are, you go there, you pick them up, and then it's done. Drain Krolok's Hollow, however, is a bit more difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, the problem with Drain Krolok's Hollow is that it's on the left side of the map, and we spawned, of course, on the furthest of the right we can go on the map. So this will take a while, and Drain Krolok's Hollow is also locked behind a skill. It's called Bow, because you need to shoot certain ice stones to activate bridges, to activate levers, drop a boulder on some buttons, and then you can Drain Krolok's Hollow. The problem here is we don't have Bow, so we have to find it. We have to collect it somewhere. Luckily, our developers of the Will of the Wisp Randomizer were not that evil to have like bingo cards locked behind a skill we just have to be lucky for to find. So we have something called hints in our randomizer. Basically what it does, some NPCs are selling hints, and you can buy them for much money, but I see they just found both without buying the hint for it, where it is. And if you buy the hint for something, you basically just know the area where it's in, so you don't have to search the whole map for this one skill. And you know the 40 pickups or so in one area can be this one pickup you search for.
Yes, and since we have many 100 pickup locations in this game, just narrowing it down to about 50 pickups, 40 pickups, 6 pickups if you're really lucky with your hint, there is a lot of help and a lot of more straightforward searching for those key items. So most of the skills which have like unique hard locks that you cannot bypass in any other way have a hint attached to them. Those hints cost a lot of spirit light, and if you've been paying attention to that top text which tells our runners what they have just found, you might have seen a lot of names. It's a kind of a gimmick, an optional currency name generator where there's a bunch of currency names. All of this is spirit light. It's the currency of this game. We have belts, we have experience, we have likes, comments, subscribes, we have all that stuff. It will all count for currency, and hints are generally in the realm of 4 digits of that. So like 1,500 for a set of 3 skill hints or something like that. So far, as Epic just mentioned, our runners found Bow randomly, so they don't need that, but maybe another hint might come into play later. Oh, and Q picking up Glade's TP there underwater. That is extremely useful with our current skill set, and you can see Guard basically immediately taking that teleporter queue just unlocked and starting working on rebuilding the glades here, building some houses for the poor homeless Smokey, which will give them access to both more pickups and progress to rebuild the glades quest. We don't know if that's actually on the board, but it might be, and if it is, well, our runners are probably going to cry a lot about needing all that randomly spawned Gallagher.
Yeah, basically you never want to see repair glades or regrow glades. Regrow glades is a bit better because you know where the seeds are and you don't have to find the item seed. You just have to collect the location of the seed. And having repair glades requires you to find 29 Gallagher. Around the map, you don't know where they are, it's randomized, of course. So you have to just get random pickups and hope get lucky to find 29 Gallagher if something is on repair glades.
It is. And we just seen the first shop check here on the right from Guard. So shops are also randomized, have a bunch of items. And if I saw that correctly, he actually bought everything except for the launch fragment. Doesn't like that skill too much because it makes the game too easy, I guess. So skipping out on that one. I approve, but obviously the faster play would be to just buy it. Let's see if that comes back later. Movement certainly is more interesting if you don't need that. So, now we have a bunch of extra teleporters, both House Dan, where Guard just teleported to here at the bottom right, which has some tree location and some pickups all around. They are doing some nice skipping there to not do any of the intended puzzles here, instead doing sword towers and some jumping to skip over the laser, and gets Inkwater Marsh TP for his troubles, which is actually the spawn of the game. The vanilla spawn is the Inkwater Marsh teleporter, and now we can actually go there if we want to. Meanwhile, on the left we are getting more tree progress here in the hollow area from Q. So what do you think? How long is it going to be until we get to see some more of the board? Because that's 5 out of 8, and well, solo is pretty accessible by now.
Yeah, I mean, getting health fragments is not that hard in Marsh, especially because it's one of the starting area. So there are scattered around a lot of health fragments you can just find. And so collecting health fragments and training Bollox Hollow is pretty near as well, because Bollox Hollow is directly after Marsh, the second area of the game. So we can see the next cards really soon, like in 10-ish minutes or so, if Guard decides to just drink Bollox Hollow, or just go for the health cells that are on the way up to go to Inkwater Marsh TP. Because there are many pickups on the way to Inkwater Marsh TP, so you technically don't just want to go there and do the card, because you have to clear out Howl's Den. He is in right now eventually. So you want to get these pickups and basically make your own way up to the Inkwater Marsh TP. So only getting Inkwater Marsh TP isn't that huge of a pickup, but of course it is useful if he decides to just go for it, because he thinks he picked up enough to move around. But apparently he wants to clear out Howl's Den, get a few more health cell pickups up there, and then make his way to Bollox Hollow to train it.
Yeah, with how many hard gates there are in Will of the Wisp, I can definitely understand not going into a full go mode too early into a run, since it can always just happen that you go for your 24 bingo cards, the last one reveals, and hooray, you need that one skill you don't have, and keep like 2/3 of the pickups on the way and can't even afford the hint. Or you get keystone locked because you didn't get enough keystones on your way. That would obviously never happen in these caliber of runs. But no, I'm just joking. It happens all the time in races.
Yep.
We have to see it. So clearing out a lot more than, for example, in the previous game, Blind Forest Rando is kind of the meta here at the moment. Alright, let's see, that's 6 out of 8 health fragments, draining 7 out of 8 health fragments. Excuse me, our runners being very quick to tell me I'm wrong on that.
God will collect the 8 right now, if he collects the right thing. and then we should be done. Yeah, the first card is unlocked, and we see a lot of new cards right now. Can you explain what these cards are, Xemsis?
Oh, I can totally do all of that. So we get to light a lantern. That generally means grenade or some environment abuse. We get to go to both trees, both ancestral light trees, one in glades, one in burrows. The ancestral light tree in glades got grown by collecting a seed over in the Silent Woods area that's already collected. Burrows is behind a bit of a bash puzzle that needs bash to be completed on the bottom left side of the map. Our runners can just go there whenever they want to because, well, they do have bash, so that's pretty nice. On the bottom we got combat shrines. We saw one of them already. It's a multi-wave encounter where you get some energy between waves to refresh your weapons, and you just need to do all the waves without dying. We need to do 3 out of those. They are very slow, but hey, we don't get to skip them if the bingo board says we need to get them. Pickups from Gorlick or in charts, it just refers to the vanilla locations of those. So just as we had 8 health cells, we now have 25 Gorlick or and 14 charts.
Did you just see that? They found Blaze, Xemsis.
Oh my god, they found Blaze. Alright, so
Best
Blaze
skill in the game.
Blaze is, yeah.
Yes,
You know,
it
the
is
one
there.
rupee, the one arrow, it is kind of on that level. It doesn't do a lot. If you play with certain randomizer only bonus items, it might be useful to melt the floor, but even though it is a giant flame explosion, it doesn't even melt snow in the base game. It is really not the most useful of things. More useful is that flash they just found, giving them the light source here in Moldwood Depths on the left. You can see the darkness was creeping in on omfq all the time, and he was doing his best to reach light sources before it grabbed all the way. Now that he has flash, he can just drain some energy and walk through it. If he would have been eaten by the darkness, that is an instant kill. So no getting out of that one with regeneration or high health pool, but having flash in our possession means that is not going to be any problem anymore. We can just turn on the lights and walk through. And if you were playing this right now, Epic, looking at the board, what would kind of be your next objective right now?
I guess training for Solo would be pretty good because you unlock the top right side of the board, so you can see a few more cards. Lighting lanterns is not high on the list, I can tell you that much. Getting the ancestral tree is pretty neat because Guard is already in this area, so he can just walk down to Midnight Burrows, do the bell puzzle with Bash, and just get this tree to unlock more cards. But anything else, like combat shrines, you can just do a bit later because you have the Howl's Den TP and Glades TP. So these are pretty easy combat shrines, and you can just do them anytime you want. So that would be my thought process right now. Just getting the tree or Drain Warlock's Hollow would be the best thing to do.
Alright, so let's see if our runners agree with you here. We are kinda going leftish here on Guard's side. Turning in the Keystone Quest from Talk gets a nice pouch for his rabbits. It's the Outer Ruins TP. I think we just walked there earlier, so that's not that nice. However, Water Dash is a very nice skill. Helps a lot with, well, Water Traversal, as well as making a lot of strats and Luma pools a lot easier, since it's kinda the intended path for that. Alright, let's see. We got a nice overshop and sentry efficiency, one of those bonus things we did, halves the cost of your sentries, and we already talked about how sentry is actually, it might be a weapon, but we use it for movement together with sword to get these high jumps that you can see on the left side of your screen, and also on the right side of the screen, because they are just well, kinda a staple on movement tech. The timing can be a bit finicky, so it might be a more than one attempt on those mid-air sentries, but otherwise, it is pretty nice to do. Getting more weapons here, Spike. Spike is actually kinda useful since it can break floors, and our runners don't have the hammer, which is actually the intended way of doing that. But otherwise, I think they have a lot of weapons already, so not sure how much they need it for other things than that. Alright, on the right we have a bit of a mini fight. This is not a combat shrine, it is just a fight room, so won't progress that far. But there is some stuff locked behind that, and with Badge and having Burrow for this Burrow fight arena, that shouldn't be a problem. And on the left, Q is heading to Drain Warlock, so I think we're gonna get a lot of board progress very soon.
Yep, you have to mention that this fight room here, what God just does, is actually a very likely goal. That's like on 50% of the boards. So just doing it preemptively is also a good option because he has to go down to Midnight Burrows eventually. And this is right underneath him, so why not just take this fight arena with you, collect the shard and get a potential goal for later on that you don't have to come back. So this is a big brain play, more or less, of him, to just do it. If it's not on the board, it's not that bad because he had Burrow. It was pretty quick, so it didn't waste really any time.
True, indeed, it didn't waste a lot of time. And of course, one of the most of the biggest time wasters you can do in any rando game is backtracking, visiting the same areas multiple times. So if you can be sure you don't need to go back here into the burrows area later, that is a good thing in my book. And now we can see God doing the bell puzzle here. This actually corresponds to the stones in the background if you've never played the game, but obviously our runners will have remembered that by now. That's a lot of hundreds to thousands hours in these games, so you don't really have to look at that anymore. And that will open up both the area and the tree to the right. Meanwhile, on the left, Q now has drained Krolok's Hollow, which, well, we had pickups on Mordred devs and we already did that, so that's nice. But we also got some extra cards, and oh my god, did the board just blow up
everything
here.
is open now except the right bottom corner. Wow. Okay, they did almost everything from the top left, like spinning the wheel is pretty easy. Trading for some silk can be finicky because you need to go around the world for that. This is the hand-to-hand quest. You basically have to trade with some Mokis, and yeah. It can be annoying to do because you have to travel a lot, but if you have the DPs, it is fairly easy to do.
Yeah, indeed. It is the classic trading quest you might know from Zelda games, or other RPGs. We have one of these in Oriental Will of the Wisp 2. It's a bunch of chains, and in the end, you get some silk from a nice Moki. We should maybe actually read that A column, since I think it is not revealed on the stream. Sorry for that, but we'll just read that for you. At A1, we had doing a specific fight room, which was the elevator we saw a long time right before God got that late TP access and teleported away. That is completed. On A2 we have the trading quest, trade for some silk. On A3 we have a single lantern, and on A5 we need to get 2 more pickups from vanilla shard locations. That shouldn't be a problem. So those are on the board, even though you can't see them. Sorry again for that. But for the things we can't see, I think the only thing that's really kind of blocking us right now is we can't really do the reach codes, can we?
No, we don't have any way to get into reach right now. We would either need the TP or find Flap. Because Flap unlocks reach because you can just blow the bear wind onto his nose. And then he wakes up and lets you into reach because he moves. Otherwise, we don't have any access into reach, and rolling the snowball is of course only in reach, and the lanterns are only in reach, so we have a bit of a problem here if we don't find Flap, but we are glad Flap is one of these items that have hints, of course. So, but for Flap hint, it's something special because you actually need to do an escape for that. So it's not a free hint you can just buy. And you have to do Wellspring Escape, if that tells you something. Wellspring Escape is basically the area right of God right now. And it's a very slow area, even though you have skills, because it's a vertical dungeon and it's pretty annoying more or less to do because it's just so slow.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of the Ginso tree from the first game, but well, the big difference is the escape is actually horizontal, while the other stuff, you don't get bash there, you get grapple. Kind of, it's on the same button, so it's the same ability, right? But otherwise, there are quite a few fight rooms, a few cutscenes in there where you need to spin some wheels and so on. We will see if our runners decide it is necessary to go there, or if they will go later. Now, wait, what did I just see? Did I just see Lightburst Ruins?
Yep. We will never find Lightburst. That's basically the hint. Because Ruins is only accessible after you get all the Wisps. So you have to defeat Quolok and Moro, the 2 big bosses in the game. And yeah, if you don't need to collect Wisps, you will never do them because they are normally pretty slow, especially without Light Burst, because Light Burst is, of course, in Ruins. And Light Burst is the best attacking move you can have in Will of the Wisp because it deals a lot of damage.
Indeed, it does. So I do not expect that to happen unless our runners for some reason get a goal that actually requires Light Burst. So Light Burst is the only intended thing to melt snow and roll a snowball. Luckily for us, Sentry's explosion for some reason counts as fire and Blaze doesn't. So we have options there to do something different later. One sad thing is Grenade is actually also an incredible movement skill, so we're not gonna get any zoomies on that regard this seed. But hey, you cannot have them all. Now we got another weapon. Shuriken is a great mobility skill too on low skill sets where you don't have a lot of skills, but we do have all the really powerful movement variants basically already, so the Shuriken isn't gonna come in that handy, maybe to break some walls from the wrong sides, because Shuriken has this great feature where it really likes to go through walls on the wrong side and break them from the opposite side. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we don't, that's for later. For now, we are gonna get some synchronized teleports on both sides. We're getting really close on that pickups from chart A5 that you can see, but that won't give us any more unlocks. Really, the thing you need to do right now if you wanna get any board progress is just buy any map hint on that E2 to get a bit of progress on that right side, or collect a metric bunch ton of Gorlek ore, because we still need 11 Gorlek ore pickups here.
Yeah, Gorlek ore is scattered around all the map from the casual perspective. Since we only need to collect the places where Gorlek ore is in and don't actually need to have Gorlek ore for this goal, it's a pretty good goal you can just plan. God here is trying to get into Ruins, trying to find Light Burst, I think, but this shouldn't work normally, but let's see if we can make it work. I don't know a way how to get it, because normally you can just trade here your hand-to-hand quest. This is your last item you get, and you get the map stone where you find every pickup. And he only got 1 silver from the escape, starting the escape.
That is pretty funny. There's a single 1 experience pickup or 1 spirit light pickup in the game. Kind of reminiscent of the first randomizer, where there's also a 1 XP pickup, exactly 1 in the game. And well, we just found it, the 1 XP, but that's sadly not quite what we were looking for. We were instead looking for the grenade, and it wasn't there. So now we get, I think is this basically a bunch of reloads where he is destroying some load walls one by one, or are we just seeing some new tech here?
You're basically soft locked in this fight if you go from this side. You can technically remove the kill plane, but it's a very hard trick. And you basically never do it because you don't want to escape from the worm. But since this is co-op, maybe the worm with breaking the wall here counts, but nope, it doesn't. So he just has to load a backup save and get back into the game and spawn out of Ruins, because you can't teleport out of this. Okay. Perfect.
Never mind, the abandoned challenge actually still works. Alright, so we're out of the Ruins escape. No infinite death loops here for us today. And what you said there about co-op, that's true. I think in an old version this would have actually worked, because co-op works by basically synchronizing your saves and not allowing your saves to go backwards in time. So there are some interesting mechanics there where you can do things, die, and get them back in your save as long as you play co-op. Some of those got fixed, however, because while we rando devs love shenanigans, we don't love all of them. So in this case, that would have worked on a not all too long ago version. It doesn't work anymore, but that's just how things happen. Alright, we got another bingo here for us. 2 lines completed now. Nice information there right in the game. And now we are just looking for how the board is gonna continue. And especially since we can see on the overlay, we only have 1 goal we can't see completed yet. So those 5 extra gods could potentially be very, very scary. I really hope for that repair glades in there.
Oh no, please don't. It's the most scary thing as a runner you can do. Repair glades, because you have to just get lucky and find Golegor. I mean, it is not that bad, but because there is 40 Golegor scattered around. Because on the Rando, we already have like the last thing you have to rebuild. And the first thing, the Spirit Well, because you have to get the TP as a pickup somehow. So the TP is already rebuilt from the beginning. And yeah, so out of the 40 pickups from Golegor, you need to find 29. So you need to find most of it. It's pretty annoying, but it is doable, of course.
Indeed. And we just got our third Comet Shrine completion, and this actually has a nice synergy here. We have to buy this map, Lumapurz, as well as buy one more map for 4 out of 5. So once we get that, we're gonna see 2 extra cards on the board. Very nice synergistic goal here, and not too out of the way. And we see Guard immediately going for that, and now gonna clip a Shuriken through this one-way wall. Those actually... There is an actual thing where you need to use multiple shurikens for this. It's a lot of black voodoo magic, and I don't even know how it works exactly. Just that it is voodoo magic. But here we are. Most of the board is now visible, and we see we have break walls. We need 10 more. We already broke 32. What vandals our runners are. 42 in total is what we need, as well as floors of ceilings, 4 out of 11. I would say Guard is in about the exact correct spot for that, because Luma has a bunch of those breakable walls, and we can and also floors, and we can do that right here. Now, one very nice thing is I think he was actually going through Wellspring to get the flap hint, and there was flap just on the way, so our runners also have access to Bowers Reach now. We might get big estimate here if this keeps up like this.
Yeah, they should. They don't need anything right now. Because you can go into Reach, they only need to break walls. And in Lumapulse there are a lot of walls, as you said, as you mentioned. So we will need like 5 more walls to break, and like 1 or 2 ceilings. And Inkwater Marsh is a very good place for that, because the link between Wellspring and Inkwater Marsh has a lot of walls you can break. So there's the point you want to go. Lighting lanterns and rolling the snowballs is not that bad. You can just do it. It's not very hard to do. And everything else seems pretty easy to do, so this board should be completed pretty soon. Except the last card we don't see is something very annoying, like getting 5 Wisps.
Oh, I absolutely wanna see a 5 Wisp. I wanna see that even more than getting the nice hand-to-hand. And it looks to me like God on the right is actually already mentally preparing for that, since here we are in the Qualog boss fight. The death at the start is intended, don't worry about that. It's something about skipping intro cutscenes, which the death just does for you. So here we are, starting off in classic Ori fashion with an escape sequence, with falling boulders and a lot of quick water dash swimming here, and all it leads to is this fight arena. And Ori 2 has a quite a more fleshed out combat system than Ori 1, and that shuriken that we mostly use to break walls will now actually come into handy, because it's multi-hit and quite a good damaging ability. And here we go into the fight, and you can see that health bar is already shredding pretty fast here. And at any moment we are actually gonna get our phase transition just a few seconds into the fight. Having that regenerate will also help us out a lot with health management. Not in the second phase of the fight, because there's no more floor to regenerate on, but otherwise that health bar is just vanishing now. Getting those sword slashes to refresh your double jump, which refreshes your sword slash, refreshes your shurikens, and Krolok is already gone in just a few seconds. GG, yeah, a very clean boss fight.
Yeah, normally Qualog takes a lot of time, especially when you do him casually, because he has a lot of health. And if you only use Sword on him, it's gonna take ages, because Sword only does 4 damage and he has like 200 or 500, I don't know. It's a lot of health, it's pretty big, and he's a very hard boss, especially if you play on hard or something. Just like Mora though, maybe they want to do Mora as well. Because there is like 3 Gorlek Word they can pick up in Moldwood, and they still need 6 Gorlek Word to pick up, so maybe they will come back to that.
Yeah, we will have to see when they are going right now. Right now, the goal of our runners seems to be reach here, and I already know Light Lantern, that's reach only. Roller Snowball is also reach only, so Q here definitely in a nice area. Dropping a rock next to Bauer, that's also a potential goal. We saw that on our first attempt of getting a game running, but as far as I have seen, it is not on this one. Right now, the lantern lighting is actually not this gigantic heat generator lantern, but it is specific lanterns we're gonna see in just a bit. For now, Q has to do this first half, basically half intended. Obviously, his sentry jump verticality isn't intended, but the other stuff is. And on the right, well, you said they potentially wanna do Mora too. Here we go, another boss fight from our runners.
Maybe God is just preparing for getting all Wisps on the board. Since he already found Seer, this is +1 Wisp, so he already has 2 Wisps, and no 3 Wisps with Warlock. Mora would be the 4th Wisp, and after Mora it's only Bauer's Reach Escape to do, then they have all 5 Wisps. Maybe we will do that as well, maybe Q wants to do the escape.
Maybe they are secretly upgrading this to an all-goal mod run. Well, we will see. But for now, we are in the Mora fight, and you have already seen as well, those HP bars go a lot down a lot quicker than they would during your casual playthrough, because our runners obviously do know the optimum damage combos and how to cancel out that ridiculously slow last sword swing that really tanks your DPS. But now, it wouldn't be Ori without an escape sequence, so God now has to run away from Mora into the second arena, and this is not only going to be the second arena, but also a place where he's gonna be very happy to have actually found a light source, because as this HP bar is dropping further and further, we are now gonna see a bit of an arena change in just a bit here. Let's wait for that. There comes the Screech, and the darkness is closing in, but we have a light source, so we can just continue wailing on Mora here. Just about a tenth of the HP left, Mora deciding to not cooperate, instead running away to the other side. Who can blame her really if you're getting wailed on this badly? And there we go, Mora dead, and that's another Wisp for God.
So what do we have left on the board? We need to trade for some Silk, which is like the next step in head-to-hand, so this is done very quickly now. We have to roll the snowball. Q is almost there. It's on his right, the snowball. He already lit lanterns. Like, you see the lantern up there. This is like a small lantern you have to light. And so the last thing that's left that can be annoying is the last card. We don't know. So this board seems kinda done in about 10 minutes if the last card isn't something bad. But I think it shouldn't be, because our bingo board devs, they know what they are doing. They don't do bad cards, they only do good ones.
Yeah,
So,
we would never do a troll card after all, true. But actually counting the completed 20 squares, or cheating and looking at the Bingothon restream, which actually shows completed hidden squares, they already got that E4. So yeah, there is nothing too hard on the board anymore. There is, however, a bit of counting and a bit of out of the way stuff with that right launch tree EXP or lower depth swim. They aren't quite on what you would call a main path, but they are very easily accessible on these skill sets. So let's see what kind of operation we're gonna get here. And interestingly enough, I see Guard on the right heading to the ruins, to inner ruins, or doing some incredibly nice pogoing of shurikens, which actually refreshes your double jump and all that good stuff. You love to see it at this moment, trying to gain extra height by using that triple jump and then a shuriken to gain more. Alright, now says enough with the memes. Sentry jumps it is. Let's actually get up here, and I think we're going to actually see all Wisps here to kind of pad out the timing a little bit, as Q on the left is heading up to the Reach Escape, which will be the last Wisp, which should then allow Guard to actually enter this ruins area, because there's a door, it is locked, and if kinda need those Wisps story-wise to get in here, and no, we Rando devs aren't so nice as to let you in without getting those. So on the left-hand side, keep your eyes, there is a very, very nice cutscene skip that can be potentially done here, and Q is starting some jumping with the sentry, getting
good.
over the trigger, looking good indeed. No intro cutscene, into the Bowers Reach escape we go. And here we are, we do not have dash, so the avalanche might be a bit closer than you're happy with. But this is a catch-up mechanic, so as long as you just proceed to the left, you should be fine. Now grappling off the bulb as the snow is getting closer and closer, dropping into the lantern room. There's a jump pad here, nicely done, and now we are going to get into a bit of a troll room just after this burrow area. There are a few icicles falling down, and then we need to drop down, and this log is hanging deeper than it looks. But now the queue is past that, and not going to hang up on that. We are done with the Bowers Reach escape. Ori falling down to Bower. And on the right hand side, we are going to see a door opening very, very, very soon.
So yeah, now Guard is entering the last area of the game, more or less. Because when you collect all the Wisps like they did right now, doing the escape and fighting both bosses, you can enter the Sandworm area, where Guard entered from the wrong side of Shuriken before. But now this time he can actually remove the pillar from the right side and do the escape like he can do normally.
Yes, we did see him get a bit stuck on that particular pillar when he broke in from the wrong side. Imagine a dev actually putting in a one-way obstacle and it working. Unheard of, but in this case it is one-way, so he will have to come in from the right side. There's a bunch of intended lore here, but let's not hang ourselves up too much on that. Instead, ignore all messages and just go down to the Sandworm escape, or also the keyboard burrow controlled please escape, as a lot of casual players will probably remember if they have ever tried to do burrowing on keyboard only. For now, let us look at the board. That A2 is finally completed. There was some trading for silk happening, and with that the hand-to-hand quest is progressed as much as necessary. And we also got our either pickup because we have the lower depth swim AC now done. That means there are only 3 cards left. We need 5 floors of ceilings, 5 Goliath, and 5 walls to finish the game. And well, some of them are in escapes, but look at this. And also notice how Guard's mouse is moving. Indeed, Rando devs decided keyboard burrowing isn't too fun either way, so instead you get to burrow, aim your burrow with the mouse instead. Feels very nice. I highly recommend everyone to try it themselves. Shameless plug for the Ori randomizer. But now Guard making headway on the Sandworm. Sandworm not quite able to catch up. Has burrow, doesn't oh, actually, sorry, he does have dash. I missed the dash pickup completely. So now all we have to do is drop into this little cranny down here and wait for the Sandworm to do his loop, not getting caught up on that. No, just is not allowed to take too much time right here. Now into the exceedingly narrow going sand paths, and once we're done with that, the escape is going to be over and the last Wisp with Sire is going to be acquired. Just a few more dashes and GG, getting all bosses, all escapes done on the first try here. Just what you would expect from runners of this caliber.
Yeah, so basically right now we only have 3 squares left. Breaking floors and breaking walls, and getting some Goligor pickups. Goligor pickups is pretty easy to do. Breaking floors and ceilings, we should go back to Luma pools because there are more floors they didn't break. And of course in Marsh. In Marsh you can find a lot of these walls you can break. So you kind of want to do that. There are like 4 walls and ceilings in one spot. So if you just go there, the goal is basically almost done.
Indeed it is. And Yeah, there's just some numeric goals left, as you said, we're 46 minutes in, 120 estimate. That's just how it goes. We don't only do bingo, we do randomizer bingo. So there's obviously quite a bit of variance on board finish times, but I think we're gonna see about 42, 43 is what I would expect here with this board. Sorry, 52 or 53, since we're about 46 minutes into the run, and let's see what's happening. Oh, and Q showing off some nice tech. Remember those sentry jumps you could do with hammer and with sword and sentry? Well, you can also do them with sword and sentry. Oh, and just showing off all the tech, getting wave dashes done. Now getting the zoomies, which is a trick used with bash and grenade that only works if you have grapple. Don't ask me how the code for that works, but those are the rules. I didn't make them, which just allows you to fly away as much as you want to be. So now we're just gonna see some area clears here on our way to some Golic or some floors. Oh, I love wave dashes, they always look so good, as well as some floors and ceilings and walls, and then we're gonna, oh sorry, the floors and ceilings are already broken right now with this bone bridge. 7 lines completed, so we just need 4 more Golic ore and 5 more walls, and then we're gonna be done.
Yeah, vaults are now scattered around, I think, around the map, because they broke most of them, and the best place to do it now would be in Willow, I guess, because in Willow you can unlock these portals, and every one of these portal walls count as one wall, so you can kill like 5 walls at once in just Willow. But they will find another way, I guess, because they still need to collect Golic ore. So maybe they just search for Golic ore and find walls on their way.
Yeah, that is one option to this, and you're actually seeing something very rare in randomizer speedruns. Looking at the map, because, well, at this point you're playing co-op, and you're not gonna remember everything your partner did, and you are also 50 minutes into the run, so you kind of need to remember which ores did I skip earlier, so I can get my 4 last ores done here. But luckily the map is fully unlocked from the start in the randomizer. No need to complete the entire trading quest for that, and we can see all the locations right there. So now our runners know exactly where they have to go, and we'll just be heading over into various Golic ore locations, and as you mentioned, hope to find some walls on the way.
Yeah, I mean, they only need 3 walls, so it should be easy to do. Unfortunately, those blobs you see on Q screen, they don't count as walls, unfortunately. I mean, they look pretty juicy to do, but the portals do in Willow, so maybe they still want to go to Willow. Would be my advice, because you know there are like 4 walls in the beginning of Willow. You really want to go there and do that, but I mean, you can just find walls here as well, so it doesn't really matter, but it would be a little bit faster.
Yeah, there are a lot of options where our runners are able to go to right now. A few of them are picks that's already collected, but on the other hand, we have a bunch of those going. Oh, and actually using grenade for one of the intended purposes. Now that's something I rarely see. Bashing off of it, because if you charge that thing up, you can bash off of it. Not quite as powerful as in RE1, where you could just bash off basically any grenade, but still a nice way to get some height, as well as those shuriken pogos we are seeing right now. And grenade again used for its intended purpose to just clear out a bunch of the stuff. Now trying to get that first frame grenade, there we go, some zoomies up from guard, and there's another Golic ore. Now we need just 2 more here, and I'm pretty sure Q is on his way to more Golic ore as well as needing 2 wards, some extra zoomies here on the right. And well, you know the map better than me. How quickly are we gonna get those ores done?
God is collecting 1 right now, because on the top right there's an ore for him, and Q can also collect 1 ore. Yeah, Q just collected it, God collected his, so we have this goal completed. They broke all the walls, and we are done. GG,
Yeah,
guys.
that
The
is
Blackout
time.
complete.
GG to both of those runners. That 120 estimate got a bit destroyed, I would say, finishing in just 50 minutes here, and getting our classic alt 2 credits. So all those people you see now, thanks to all of them. And I see our runners have joined us back. GG, Q, and Guard. That 120 estimate is looking quite high right now.
Yeah, we got lucky with the seed. We could have been done like much sooner.
Yeah, I saw you going for a light burst. I think you just wanted to show off like the tech you can do with light burst, and because you got the hint that it's in ruins, which is very, very rare, so
Yeah.
you just decided to go for it, I guess.
Yes.
But
I
very
tried
nice
to do the
showing.
escape on the worm escape, but I forgot how to do that, so we actually had to get all the wisps.
Yeah, it's a very hard trick where you have to stay above the worm on the left side, and then the kill plane despawns after some amount of time, and if you don't go fast enough, it respawns. So yeah, it's pretty precise to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm kind
but
of sad that Dash was that late.
But hey, it was a bingo goal.
Yeah, true.
true. And hey, in the end, you got to show basically everything off that wasn't launched, which is going to sit forever in that shot forgotten. It's the last fragment because who needs launch in there or in the Will of the Wisps, right?
Right.
Yeah, we didn't want to buy that.
Yeah,
Well,
GG
guys.
again.
Yeah,
you.
GG also from me. Sorry to interrupt you. But yeah, GG. It was an awesome bingo run. And well, way faster than any one of us expected, I guess. So thank you for making sure that we keep on schedule.
You're welcome.
Oh, always a good thing, I think. Same question as for the last guys. If anyone of our viewers or of our hosts or whoever wants to join the Ori and the Will of the Wisps bingo crew, where would we find you?
Oh, so for that, I know Aiko is probably already shilling in chat as I know her, but otherwise we have a bunch of ways for you to get us on wotw.orirando.com. We have our Will of the Wisp randomizer website, and we both have a wiki that will tell you everything on how to get started, as well as some Discord links on there to join the Ori Discord. If you go to the Blind Forest page, just orirando.com, you're also gonna get that Discord link. So come join us. We'd love to have you there. And if you have any questions about either game, both vanilla or randomizer or bingo, just don't hesitate to ask. You're probably gonna get 8 people answering you at the same time.
I mean, that's always a good thing because if one of them might be wrong, the others can correct it, right? Also, I mean, we do have some time to kill, and I hope that Tech won't hate me for doing a bit of an interview here, but it is the end of our shift of Awesomate and me, so I want to enjoy it a bit, and so for the two, well, not just the two runners, but everyone really, how did you get into Ori and the Will of the Wisps? Did you play Ori and the Blind Forest first and just want to get into the sequel, or did you start with the Will of the Wisps, maybe?
Go ahead
So
first. Stu.
for me, yeah, I I never planned to run this game. Well, as in speedrunning, I watched a ton of Blind Forest a couple years ago, but since I watched it so much, I decided not to buy the game. And well, I basically knew everything. But then all of a sudden there was a sequel coming out that I didn't know about, which I saw briefly on Twitch, and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna watch anything, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm gonna buy the game myself and play it. And yeah, it finished way too fast. So I decided to give speedrunning a shot. My first speed game ever, actually, and I'm still playing it. And yeah, over the time I branched out to Rando, which I mainly play now. Met some awesome friends through the community as well. Very
Oh yeah,
thankful
that's
for that.
true. The community is pretty close where we are right now because most people know each other, so they help each other. Nobody is toxic here, so It's just a wholesome community we have built around Ori.
Awesome, awesome. What would a runner need to do let's say proper Ori bingo? And with that I mean it's a Metroidvania style game, so I think map knowledge and item placement knowledge would be great. So do you need like 100% knowledge of the game to properly do it, or?
Nah, you definitely don't need that. But what I can recommend is like getting a proper understanding about what logic wants from you. So you have to just play some seeds at the beginning and then do maybe bingo boards after that. So you know where to get skills, how can you do it faster on the bingo board. But anything else, map knowledge, of course, where is which pickup. So you know where to go. You don't always have to look at the map. And the rest is just understanding the logic, as I said before. But you don't really need that deep of an understanding to get there.
Yeah, and just to add on that, if you're just starting out, obviously these showcases and like big races between the top runners and whatever, they are played with a bunch of intended glitches and so on. But we made sure when we made the randomizer to have a preset that doesn't require anything that the game won't teach you from one casual playthrough. So if you just go to the website, select the cutely named Moki logic, and press, I think it is like right click on your map 3 times, you're gonna get a filter that tells you exactly what the randomizer expects you to do at any given point, right there in game on the map, so you know what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And the bingo goals are mostly self-explanatory. The only thing you might need to look up is, for example, quest names or something like that, if you're not too familiar. But otherwise, you can just jump in and get started and have fun with it.
Okay, cool. That sounds really, really helpful for beginner players, which I think most see as a hurdle of getting into it, being overwhelmed by all the stuff. But it really sounds like the randomizer helps out the player on on this easier setting. So yeah, that sounds really great for any Ori fan that wants to get into bingo to spice things up a bit. However, I would say that I've taken your time for long enough, and we will now go into a very quick intermission. Well, I say very quick. I don't know. I'm not on tech, but for you guys, I think it will be rather short. And if it takes a little longer, we have 2 wonderful hosts coming up to make the wait a bit more bearable. With the DM Panda and MB, and I know both of them. I've worked with both of them, and they're awesome. So look forward to that. And after that intermission, we have what was it? We have Lego Batman, and it's a 4-way triple bingo race. Do look forward to that because that sounds really crazy. So I'm off for now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the marathon. And Osmate, do you want to do a little last shout out before we go?
I just want to say thank you to all the runners and everyone who's watching and has donated. If anyone wants to donate, there's incentives for games. Like we've got Near Automotive that has $45 left to do the chicken mod, which would be really fun to see. But yeah, just thanks to everyone who's shown up, everyone who's run, and everyone who's going to run.
Yeah, so with that, we will go to a quick intermission, and the Bingothon will be right back for you with more awesome runs.
The reason we were so successful in launching clinical trials for the coronavirus vaccines is because we've spent years building this network for the HIV vaccine trials network. And we have centers across the world that are using these. We are testing different vaccines for HIV and almost trying to be strain specific and trying to identify 2 or 3 of the major strains that are in the region and putting together a way to develop vaccines that would really be able to convince your immune system to make antibodies against the dominant strains and make these things that are called broadly neutralizing antibodies, which can neutralize many different strains of HIV at the same time. So we have a few different HIV vaccine trials that are currently in the field. And it's been hard because the thing with HIV is it's a sloppy virus. It makes a lot of mistakes when copying itself. And when it does that, it changes fundamentally that our immune system can't see it. And so its sloppiness is its greatest gift, which is why it's been so challenging to make vaccines for something like HIV.
Welcome, welcome! If you are just joining us or have joined us recently, this is Bingothon Winter 2021. My name is Just Call Me Batman, and I'm joined by my awesome partner.
I am the Lego Panda, and you said that you can get to the Christmas 2021.
So yeah, we're here. We're just chilling. We're here during an intermission. Figured it's perfect time to come on and tell you guys about kind of this event. We are donating towards Fred Hutch. Fred Hutch is a cancer research center where world-renowned scientists and humanitarians work together to prevent, diagnose, and treat cancer, HIV, and many other diseases. With 3 Nobel laureates among their researchers, they are at the front of the battle against those illnesses. So we are just totally, I mean, gosh, we're lucky to be able to be working with them.
Yeah, and you don't just get nothing if you donate towards this amazing cause. There is the chance, of course, to win prizes. If you donate a minimum of $20 in the next 3 hours, you have a chance of winning Team 17 game pack for today, and there's one for every day. And they also have donated a massive pack of, I believe it is every game that they have currently, and that's for a minimum donation of $50. But that is cumulative to the end of the event.
Awesome. Well, I know we got some good music, and we know that our next players are hard at work getting ready for their runs. So we're just gonna give you guys a couple minutes to chill, hydrate, donate. You know,
The toilet if you need to.
Exactly. All right, keep it real. We'll be back soon.